Hi everyone, so I made Shadow the Hedgehog in 3D and I thought it'd be fun to break it down for you. Here's a quick guide on how to make a stylized 3D character like this yourself. Step 1 is the Blockout. I assembled simple shapes using ZModeler, and you can use your modeling program of choice, but I chose ZBrush so I can sculpt them immediately after. I did 3D model the shoes with subdivisions in Blender to get more control of the shoe's design, but then I imported them back into ZBrush. I didn't use a character sheet for reference because I was going with my own style, but I would recommend using one as it would have saved me a lot of time. Step 2 is sculpting. We smooth out our topology and sculpt away at it like clay. My most used brushes are Clay Buildup, Smooth, H-Polish, Move, Trim Dynamic, and Damp Standard. As you practice more, those couple of brushes can let you get all the control you need over most complex shapes. I recorded the entire process, but then redid a lot of parts off camera after I realized he wasn't giving Ultimate Lifeform yet. After a ton of edits, he was looking exactly how I thought he would if they never made Sonic colors, and he was ready for the next step. Step 3 is Awful. To get Shadow ready for painting and rigging, we gotta endure the laborious process of transforming the 4 million triangle sculpt into a low poly mesh with UV maps. I'll save you the trouble, but his low poly model is a mix of automatic retopology with Z-Remesher and manual editing in Blender. I manually place my seams to have the most texture space possible, refine my UV islands, then pack them. Shadow is now a low poly character for games and animation. Step 4 is texturing. I used 3D Painter to bake his high poly model onto the low poly, which projects the high poly detail onto our optimized model. This not only gives us the normal map we need, but allows us to use the other maps to texture our model. Since I was going for a Toys for Bob style, I wanted to keep the texture simple, so with the basic smart material I set up his colors, then used generators and masks to bake the impression of light and paint in the texture. I hand painted his glowing orange eyes and red fur for a bit, double checked his coolness factor, then sent the textures into Blender. Step 5 is rigging. I couldn't spend too long on this project, so I just used the simple human armature included in Blender and assigned my vertex groups manually except for the body mesh, which used automatic weights. I didn't convert the armature to a Rigify rig since I wasn't concerned with any keyframing, I just needed a way to pose them quickly for some turntable renders. So yeah, save yourself some time and just use basic FK rigs for less complex projects. Step 5 is lighting. You don't have to overcomplicate this if you're not working with an environment. I set up an HDRI at a low intensity to get some details in the shadows, then put a red and blue point light on each side for fun. I added a sunlight for some directionality, and then a white point light right behind him to give him some cool edge lighting. I made some fun poses, snapped some image renders, and keyframed him turning 360 degrees for the video. So that's how I recreated Shadow the Hedgehog in 3D. If I wanted to take the project further, I would totally make a more complex rig for him, and then either practice some animation with it or make some sort of Shadow Sonic Frontiers mod. To be honest, I'm trying to build this channel, so if you want to support me by subscribing or commenting, it would mean a ton, because then I could start making longer tutorials and make better art with you guys in mind. I also have a lengthy stylized grass tutorials out now on Fast Track Tutorials too, if you want to check that out. Anyways guys, bye for now and have a fantastic day.